YouTube, how we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo, and this is another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Tuesday, February 25th, and we have a 7-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I have 2 highlighted selections for today. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite games in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we went 0-2 on our highlighted plays of the day. It was a rough day overall on the card. First, we took the Indiana Pacers plus 5 points against the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets made a critical run to end the first half and ultimately ended up winning the game by 9 points. Next, we took the Oklahoma City Thunder, laying 12.5 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Thunder blew a 25-point lead. It was the biggest blown lead in franchise history. They led by 16 points with 3 minutes left and ultimately lost the game by 3 points in overtime. I was sick overall with yesterday's card, but I do love today's games, and I'm ready to get in my bag. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the Boston Celtics in Toronto taking on the Toronto Raptors. Celtics are laying 11 points, and the total is 226. The Celtics have been in that mode recently. They're currently 9-1 in their last 10 games and on a 5-game win streak. That being said, though, they are the second worst team in the league coming off of an ATS win. They're now 11-28-1 against the spread coming off of an ATS win. We know what the Raptors do in Canada, especially in the underdog role. As home dogs, the Raptors are now 17-9-1 on the season, cashing. Coming off of 5 straight against the spread wins, the Celtics are due for a flat spot. We're taking the Raptors plus the 11 as our first highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers in Orlando taking on the Orlando Magic. Cavs are laying 7.5 points, and the total is 222.5. The Magic are finally starting to hoop. They've now covered against the spread in 4 straight meetings. On the other side, though, not only have the Cavs covered in 5 straight, but as road favorites on the season, they're now 14-8 against the spread. Darius Garland is questionable in this one. I know the Cavs have been dominant like I was saying, but this seems to me like a spot where the Magic can compete. Over the last couple seasons, they've played their best ball at home in Orlando, and I think this one comes down to something like the Cavs winning by 5 points. So we're taking the Magic plus the 7.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Milwaukee Bucks in Houston taking on the Houston Rockets. Rockets are laying 3.5 points, and the total is 227. The Bucks do fly to Houston here on the second leg of a back-to-back. Looking at the injury reports for this one, the Bucks have Giannis and Gary Trent listed as probable, and they'll be without Pat Connaughton. On the Rockets side, they're still without Fred VanVleet. Then Jae'Sean Tate, Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, and Tari Eason are all questionable. The Bucks are on a 4-game win streak, but they are winning games by a bucket, not really covering spreads on that run. Playing inferior teams, too. They covered last night against the Heat, but the game before that, they only beat the Wizards by 3 points. So like I'm saying, it's not like they're airing teams out. At home, in Houston, where the Rockets play their best ball, I think they get the home cover here. We're taking the Rockets laying the 3.5 as our second highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Phoenix Suns in Memphis taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies are laying 7.5 points, and the total is 245.5. The Suns have been a disappointment this season. They currently sit in 11th place in the West, and they just lost against the Raptors in their last matchup by 18 points. With the Suns being favorites, laying points, they lost by 18. As road underdogs, the Suns are now 4-9 against the spread on the season. So this isn't their spot, and really not many spots have been good for them considering they're sitting in 11th place. The Grizzlies on the other side have been the exact opposite, surprising me, winning games and sitting in 3rd place in the West. As home favorites, the Grizzlies are now 16-8 against the spread on the season, and against this disappointment of a Suns team, I think they easily get a double-digit win. We're taking the Grizzlies laying the 7.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the San Antonio Spurs in New Orleans taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are laying 3 points, and the total is 239.5. These two teams did just face off 2 days ago, and the Pelicans won 114 to 96. That game was also in New Orleans, so no travel here. We were on the Pels in that one, and I let you guys know with the lack of big presence on San Antonio, I can't trust a De'Aaron Fox-led team to keep games competitive. The thing is, in this one, I have a weird feeling the Spurs do something. They're 10 games ahead of the Pelicans in the standings, and even without Wemby, I do think the Spurs compete here. It's not the best spot for them, but I just have a gut feeling the Spurs win this one by something like a bucket. So I'm taking the Spurs plus the 3 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Charlotte Hornets in Golden State taking on the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are laying 17 points, and the total is 220.5. The Hornets do fly into Golden State on the second leg of a back-to-back here. They got absolutely demolished by the Kings last night, losing 130 to 88, a 42-point loss. The Hornets have lost their 3 games by a combined margin of 109 points over 3 games. That's a falling knife that I don't want to catch. The new look Warriors on the other side, been hoping. They've now covered against the spread in 4 of their last 5 meetings, and I think they absolutely air out the Hornets here. If the Kings can beat you by 42 points on no rest, the Warriors should win this game by 100. We're taking the Warriors laying 17 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Dallas Mavericks in Los Angeles taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers are laying 9 points, and the total is 232.5. We got the game of the night here. Of course, I wish AD was playing, but it'll still be fun to see Luka go head-to-head against his old team. Here, there's no new updates to the injury reports. The Mavs bigs are all still out, and then PJ Washington is questionable. In their last game, the Lakers looked like final contenders. They blew out the Nuggets by 23 points in Denver, and Luka had 32, 10, and 7. Heating up and facing his old team, I think Luka goes absolutely nuts tonight, and I think the Lakers get a dominant win. When they get healthy, the Mavs can compete against the Lakers, but in their current form, missing all of their bigs, I don't even think they stand a chance against the Lake Show in LA. We're taking the Lakers laying the 9 as our last and final selection of the evening. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I've been sliding on those highlighted, I know. In the month of February, I'm now 4-17 against the spread on highlighted plays. One of the coldest stretches I've been on in a while. Like I've been saying, fade me if you have to, but I look to end the month strong. We have 3 days left, and I'm looking to minimize the damage, get us back positive in 2025 on the highlighted. Again, thank you for rocking with me, guys. I'm going to put in the work every day, and I'm going to get us back in that win column sooner or later. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo. And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.